Perhaps one of the most remarkable events in the last century has been the rise of China. A country with 1.4 billion people and an almost unlimited supply of natural resources was bound to become a global superpower. An effective yet authoritarian communist government has made this a reality, helping to lift 850 million people out of poverty, the greatest reduction of poverty in human history. Many actions and policies have led to a modern China, including laws and policies which help to foster industry growth, such as strong, accountable institutional systems, the introduction of a proto-free market, and the building of major infrastructure projects. Moving from a developing to a developed nation embodies many changes. These include rising incomes, increased years of schooling for children, longer life expectancy, and increased levels of equality. Such a rapid transition of taking 850 million out of poverty also calls for an increase in energy consumption. Between 1981 and 2017, as China lifted the majority of its citizens out of poverty, it increased its energy use sevenfold. The most striking part of this growth has been the country's consumption of coal, which today accounts for almost 2/3 of its total energy consumption. China's development has come with consequences. Rising air pollution from the burning of coal has been an impetus for China to focus on low-emission energy sources, including nuclear, hydroelectricity, natural gas, and renewables. The country is currently building 13 nuclear reactors, the most of any country on Earth. It's also home to 9 of the world's 20 largest hydroelectric dams, including the colossal Three Gorges Dam on the Yangtze River, the largest hydroelectric dam in history. China has recently become the world's second largest importer of liquefied natural gas, or LNG, and has nearly quadrupled its imports since 2010. China is also the global leader in renewable energy investment. Their investment of $126 billion in 2017 accounts for almost half of global renewable investment. This met 0.8% of the country's energy needs. To put China's energy consumption in perspective, their total energy consumption grew 2.8% in 2017. So, the $126 billion of renewable energy investment accounted for less than 1/3 of the country's growth. Despite this massive investment, it wasn't enough to replace any existing coal consumption. Over the past decade, China has seen the largest increase in annual emissions of any country on Earth. Its government may look to the United States, who has seen the largest decrease over the same period. The United States has had 2 significant developments in energy which have contributed to this reduction. First, the country is a leader in renewable energy investment, accounting for 14% of global investment, the highest spending per person of any developed country. Second, the development of hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, has unlocked its vast shale gas reserves to replace almost 40% of its coal consumption, a technology Chinese energy companies are keen to implement. The good news is that China's emissions growth has stalled since 2013 as a result of heavy investment into alternative energy sources. These changes over the past few decades have been remarkable. The greatest reduction of poverty the world has ever seen has come at the cost of emissions. Its transformation has required almost unimaginable quantities of energy. China's pace of growth has peaked and will likely slow down somewhat in the future. As its growth slows, will it continue to need all forms of energy to fuel its growing middle and upper class? Or will its economy transition away from its reliance on fossil fuels? Although a portion of the energy consumed by China is directly being consumed locally, a large portion is used to manufacture consumer goods for Canada, the United States, and other parts of the world. If the profits of the goods are allocated to China, but the consumers of the goods are elsewhere, who should really be accountable for those emissions?